Hey guys, this is Billy Davidson with Davidson Pressure Washing and Painting coming out of Hammond, Louisiana. I wanted to make this video. Perhaps this will help someone out there that has a broken Xjet. This particular Xjet been used many thousands of times. I actually bought this, I think, 2011, early 2011. Like I said, used it thousands of times on hundreds and hundreds of jobs. And when they new, they work great. Um, it's probably considered one of these must-have uh, nozzles. I would highly recommend it if you don't have one to get it. I think they're about $150, but they are literally worth their weight in gold when it comes to power washing. Now, when they come new, like I said, this one's many years old. Well, when they come new, they have an adjustable nozzle on the end here. Mine had got broke. Even trying to take care of it best way I could, keeping it clean. You end up dropping them. Things happen. But at the end of this nozzle, it was an adjustable nozzle, and it had two fins in it. And those two fins allow you to adjust it from a straight stream down to a fan stream. Like I said, great piece of equipment to have. There's two different kinds of Xjets. One's the original, and it's not adjustable. It just shoots a straight stream. It gets about 35 feet, depending on what type of machine you have. The adjustable one adjusts from a straight stream to a fan stream. Works really great. Like I said, when it's working properly. But over time, those fins will come out. They get bent. You can try to straighten them out, but over time, you just got that metal fatigue, and mine ended up blowing out at some point, and tell them where it went. But I ended up discarding that piece. But so once I took that piece off, I found that it does have male threads on the end, and I'm not sure what size it is. It could be a quarter, maybe a 3/8. You'd have to maybe bring it into the hardware store and see if you can get a little pipe or something that actually, with a female thread on it, that actually thread on to the end of here. And if you can get that done, that would be the hardest part. But that's a pretty little common piece of pipe. You can have it 2 inches or 4 inches, or I guess if you went over 4 inches, it might get a little awkward, it's sticking way out there. But whatever would work, as long as you pass this barb. And you might could even trim this barb off, hacksaw it off evenly. Just make sure you don't compromise that opening. If you do, don't crimp it or anything, because that would definitely affect your flow. And speaking of flow, I did find out that, originally these come with about a 15-foot pickup tube. I've experimented with a 25-foot pickup tube, and it worked perfectly still. So it did give me a little bit more, leeway when I was applying my soap. I have heard they got a guy out there that demonstrated using a 100-foot pickup line. A lot of hose, but he said it worked about the same. So you just have to experiment with that, the length of your pickup line. But obviously this end goes into the end of your gun or your lance, however you got it configured. But what I did, I had ordered a bunch of parts. We're always ordering stuff we sometimes don't even need. But this come from Pressure Tech, and I'm not even quite sure what it was. Some sort of adjustable nozzle, and I think it had some other pieces or something went to it. I had never used it, just found it in an old box laying around in the shop. But I got to looking at it, and it's got a good opening. So I figured, that would probably work. And so I said, well, let me see if it fits on here and see if I can screw this on one hand. And it actually fit on there perfectly. I have to forgive me. I'm holding the phone with one hand and trying to do this with the other. Okay, I think I got it started. See if I can get it a little bit tighter. that's just hand tight. Of course, you know, if you'd want to put a little Teflon on it, and then, you know, maybe put a little pair of vice grips on this wide part, or if you're using a piece of pipe, you know, just something to grip on it. It don't have to be super tight. Just make sure it's good and snug. And once I did that, if you are using a piece of pipe, of course, you'd want, you know, this end threaded as well. In this case, I got lucky, and this does have threads in it. This little piece here. So I've just got me one of my new quick connects out of the box, and I went to Lowe's and found a little brass 1/4 inch. I guess it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. It threaded right into the quick connect, a little Teflon on it, and then it threads right into here. I'm gonna just hand tighten that. Of course, once you get this all set up, you'd want to, you know, put a wrench on it, make sure it's good and tight, and of course use your Teflon to get it all good and snug. And on this end, so now you're back in business. So on this end, you can actually put a soap tip on it, like I have here. You could put a J-rod, or, you know, what we call a 4-banger, downstream and nozzle kit. Now, of course, if you used any of your colored tips, like a white or yellow tip or a green tip, anything that's going to create a lot of pressure, I'm not sure what would happen with that. I do know it probably wouldn't want to draw soap at that point, so that would probably wouldn't benefit you anyway. But as long as you got a low pressure downstream and nozzle in it, like this black tip or a J-rod, or even a shooter tip, that worked well too. It'll still draw soap really well, and if you have your J-rod in there, you can go from a low pressure drawing soap. You know, once you get that done, you switch it around to maybe a little bit higher pressure tip. You know, just if you got some rinsing to do or whatever you need to do with it. But anyway, this is what fixed this broken Xjetter, and you know, like I said, you know, it's just a real cheap and inexpensive way of repairing it. You know, if you got your adjustable nozzle is broken, of course you can replace it. You know, another $150, you got a new Xjetter, which is great. Even if you did replace it with a new one, it's probably worth another $5 or $10, $15 to get your old one back up and running, just as a backup. I like this configuration better than when it had the adjustable nozzle on it. I just have a little bit more options when I'm out power washing. But anyway, if y'all have any questions on downstreaming, chemical injectors, what type of chemical injector you should have, the ratios that you need to be running for house wash, or if you're doing, you know, some type of other power washing, degreasing, or whatever. You know, downstreaming is different than Xjetting. Of course, the downstreamer goes right near your machine. Not all downstreamers are created equally, so you want to make sure you have the correct one that matches your machine. If you got any questions about that, I could probably give you some good advice on that. I've been through that, done that before, many times, many mistakes, and learned from my mistakes. And if I can help someone out there, definitely would be willing to. And then, of course, if you're going to do some Xjetting, which I would highly recommend, if you don't have an Xjetter, drop what you're doing and go order one. You know, go Google it, go on one of those websites. Of course, you want to match your Xjetter with your proper flow. So, you know, make sure if you got a 4 gallon per minute machine, you want to get an Xjetter that matches that. In our case, we run 8 gallon per minute machines. So you want to make sure your Xjetter is matched with your pressure and your gallons per minute. Other than that, these Xjetters, the benefit to them, they pull much more higher ratio sodium hypochlorite solution than what downstreaming would. Downstreaming, I think about the best you're going to get is a 1:5 ratio, or Some refer to it as a 20%er. These Xjets probably do double that. I think they right under 50%. And you could test it, with your machine. Every machine's a little different. Your flow, how your pump set up, how much hose you got on it, that sort of thing. So it's always good to test your downstreamer or your Xjetter to see exactly what ratio you get, and just use plain water, and that way you know exactly what your ratio is for your machine and your configuration. But if y'all need any help with anything, you got any questions, feel free to call me. My number is 985-345-0778. If I can help out in any way, I'll be more than happy to talk to y'all guys later. Bye.